Back to the Blue House. President Lee Jae-myung has begun his first day of work at the Blue House, marking the return of South Korea's presidency to the historic complex for the first time in more than 3 years. We take a closer look at how the President's Day unfolded. A record-breaking year for exports. South Korea's annual exports have topped $700 billion for the first time on record. We break down what's behind the surge and why it matters for the economy. Apology and compensation. E-commerce giant Coupang has laid out its compensation plan following a massive data breach affecting more than 33 million customers. The move comes a day after the company's founder issued a long-awaited apology. Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Monday. I'm Songyujin, filling in for Kim Dami. We begin tonight at the Blue House, also known as Cheongwade, which has officially resumed its role as South Korea's presidential office for the first time in 3 years and 7 months. Now, President Lee Jae-myung began work there today, roughly 7 months after taking office. Our Blue House correspondent Yoon Jung-min has a wrap-up of the president's first day at Cheongwade.
It was an unusual scene on Monday morning to witness a president clocking in for work. Wearing a three-colored tie representing national unity, President Lee Jae-myung made his first commute to the Blue House since taking office, having relocated his office from Yongsan. His supporters were waving flags and calling out his name outside, and his senior aides waited for him to arrive. Upon arrival, he met aides over tea where he was briefed on this year's exports and investment by foreigners, expected to be record highs, as well as the launch of a task force against transnational online scam crimes. He also visited the National Crisis Management Center, located underground, asking for thorough defense readiness 24/7 to protect the lives of the people. And he made a surprise visit to the Chunchugan press room, greeting reporters. On the stroke of midnight, the symbolic presidential flag, bearing a pair of phoenixes, was raised at Cheongwade, also known as the Blue House. With that, it has restored its name and status as the nation's top office. The president will mostly stay at the Yeomingwan building, rather than the main office building, for close communication with his senior aides and staff.
With the return to the Blue House, we will show the Lee Jae-myung-style pragmatism that prioritizes transparency and competency, restores communication with the public, and renews the status as a global pillar of diplomacy and defense.
Lee will commute to and from work for the time being until the renovation of the official residence is completed. In 2022, former President Yoon Suk-yeol relocated the nation's top office to the building used by the Defense Ministry in Yongsan, where he declared martial law last year. President Lee has vowed to end the Yongsan era and focus on state affairs at the traditional presidential compound for the remainder of his term. The office vowed to bolster communication with the public, apparently with criticism in mind that the place is symbolic of a lack of communication. In the long term, the president plans to relocate the office to the administrative city of Sejong. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
In other news, the special counsel team probing corruption allegations involving former First Lady Kim Keon Hee released its findings on Monday. According to Special Prosecutor Min Jung-gi, who led the investigation, Kim repeatedly received expensive gifts and was extensively involved in personnel appointments and election nominations. The former First Lady has been indicted on 9 criminal charges, including political interference, accepting valuables, and stock price manipulation. Kim's legal team said in a statement that the investigation's findings will ultimately be judged in court, adding that she will fully cooperate with the trial process with a lower court ruling scheduled for January 28th. Now with this, all 3 special counsel investigations launched this summer have wrapped up. The other 2 probes examined the death of a Marine during a flood rescue operation and former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law declaration. In other news, one of the most notable institutional changes in South Korea heading into the new year is the revival of the Ministry of Budget and Planning, which will take over budgetary authority previously held by the Finance Ministry. President Lee on Sunday nominated veteran conservative lawmaker Lee Na-hyun to lead the ministry. Our Kim Do-yeon looks at the nominee's economic outlook and her diagnosis of the domestic economy.
The nation's economy in the short term is facing a perfect storm due to inflation and the weak Korean won. That's the view of the nominee for South Korea's newly created Minister of Planning and Budget, Lee Na-hyun. Lee faced the media for the first time on Monday as she starts her confirmation process. And in her long-term diagnosis, Lee says the nation has been ignoring its threats.
I view the 5 major issues we are concerned about: the demographic crisis, the climate crisis, extreme polarization, the rapid transformation of industry and technology, and regional extinction as a gray rhino situation. These are dangers we are all aware of and have long been warned about, yet they become fatal threats when ignored or neglected.
To tackle these gray rhino risks, the nominee argued that the government must fundamentally change how it operates. She stressed that the current method of short-term resource allocation is insufficient for solving complex, long-term problems. Instead, Lee proposed a systematic shift where fiscal strategy is tightly coupled with forward-looking policy planning.
We need an approach that links planning with budgeting. It is not about allocating funds on a short-term, case-by-case basis, but rather a method where planning and the budget are synchronized with a vision for the future.
This policy is the driving force behind the government's latest restructuring. Under a reorganization bill set to take effect in January, the massive Ministry of Economy and Finance will be split into 2 separate entities. The existing body will retain its focus on immediate policy execution and tax affairs. The new Ministry of Planning and Budget, which Lee has been tapped to lead, will be established under the Prime Minister's office. Its specific mandate is to function as a control tower for mid to long-term national strategy, ensuring that budget outlays are investing in future growth engines rather than just covering current costs. The nomination by President Lee Jae-myung came as a surprise. Lee Na-hyun is a former 3-term lawmaker from the main opposition conservative bloc and has been vocal against President Lee. The presidential office described the appointment as a symbol of unity and pragmatism. Officials explained that given the severe economic volatility, the administration prioritized expertise and legislative experience over political background, noting that the economy has no room for partisan division. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, on the economic front, 2025 has become a milestone year for South Korea's exports. The country has surpassed the $700 billion mark, becoming just the 6th country in the world to reach that shipment level. Cha Young breaks down what drove the surge.
The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Resources and the Korea Customs Service announced on Monday that South Korea's annual exports have surpassed $700 billion in value for the first time. This makes it the 6th country to do so behind the United States, Germany, China, Japan and the Netherlands, showing faster export growth compared to other major economies. In 1948, exports amounted to $19 million, meaning the export volume has grown more than 36,000 times. The country achieved $700 billion in exports 30 years after exceeding $100 billion in 1995, and 7 years after surpassing $600 billion in 2018. The average annual export growth rate reached 14.67%. A ministry official said, despite a challenging trade environment marked by U.S. tariff measures and trade protectionism, Korea turned the crisis into an opportunity, underscoring the resilience of our people and businesses. While outbound shipments declined in the first half of the year, they rebounded sharply from June, setting new monthly records for 6 consecutive months. The ministry attributed the strong performance to robust semiconductor exports, alongside automobiles, ships, and bio-related goods. Food and cosmetics also contributed to the overall growth, along with the popularity of the Korean wave. The government said it will work to sustain momentum next year by strengthening the fundamental competitiveness of industries through manufacturing innovation, diversifying export markets and items, and expanding incentives to attract foreign investment to regional areas. 차윤경, Arirang News.
And turning to the markets, there was more good news on Monday. South Korea's tech giants Samsung Electronics and SK hynix both closed at record highs, on track to end the year on a strong note. Our correspondent Park Jun-an explains what's driving the rally and whether the momentum can continue in the new year.
South Korea's tech leaders, Samsung Electronics and SK hynix, saw significant rises in sales and their stock prices in 2025, both breaking their own all-time records. This was due to the company's solid performances in meeting strong global demand for AI chips.
Even with enough money, it has become difficult to secure semiconductors, as supply and demand instability is expected to persist for some time. With the outlook for semiconductor exports remaining highly optimistic, prices are rising and volumes are increasing, meaning both pricing and volume factors are continuing to strengthen.
As of Monday, Samsung Electronics has seen a remarkable 123.8% increase in its share price year-to-date. Monday's record was also the highest market end value recorded in the company's history. SK hynix, Korea's second-largest company, saw even stronger growth this year, elevating its value by a whopping 273.8%. The momentum behind AI has significantly fueled demand for a dynamic random access memory, or DRAM chips. According to Counterpoint Research's Memory Market Tracker and Forecast Report, SK hynix and Samsung Electronics ranked as the top two global producers of memory chips in the third quarter of 2025, with a combined estimated 67% of the worldwide DRAM market.
AI memory has become the key. As AI memory grows more critical within AI semiconductors, supply and demand imbalances are pushing tech giants to secure memory chips early. This trend suggests memory chip prices are likely to keep rising.
With the AI cycle and momentum still alive, investors are placing major bets on expectations of further upside movements of the two stocks. If the benchmark Kospi reaches 5,000 next year, the performances of Samsung and SK could play a significant role in realizing that ambitious goal. Park Jun-an, Arirang News.
Staying on the domestic front, the massive data breach at e-commerce platform Coupang has dominated headlines here in the country for weeks. Now, a day after its founder issued his first public apology, the company on Monday unveiled a compensation package. Here's our Kim Bo-kyung with what you need to know.
Following a massive personal data breach in November, e-commerce giant Coupang on Monday announced a compensation plan worth around 1.68 trillion Korean won. That is around 1.17 billion US dollars. Under the plan, Coupang will provide 50,000 won discount coupons per person to 33.7 million customers. This will include all Coupang WOW members, regular users, and former members who have withdrawn from the services. The compensation payments will be made gradually starting January 15th next year. The purchase coupons consist of those usable in each of Coupang's services. 5,000 won for Coupang, 5,000 for Coupang Eats, the food delivery service, 20,000 for Coupang's travel products, Coupang Travel, and another 20,000 for our luxury beauty and fashion products. All services except Coupang Eats are available through the Coupang app to both WOW members and regular members. Coupang Eats requires downloading the separate food delivery app. Users who previously withdrew from Coupang must rejoin the platform in order to use the vouchers. Coupang's interim chief executive officer Harold Rogers said in a press release that taking this incident as a turning point, Coupang will embrace customer-centric principles and fulfill its responsibilities to the very end, transforming into a company that customers can trust. The announcement of the compensation plan follows an apology issued by Coupang founder Kim Bum-seok on Sunday, marking his first public apology regarding the data breach. In a written public statement that came out nearly a month after the breach was first made public, Kim said he was deeply sorry for the inadequate initial response and lack of communication, but has also notified that he will not attend the joint National Assembly hearing scheduled to begin on Tuesday. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
In the world of K-pop, a full 5-member reunion of K-pop girl group NewJeans now appears unlikely, following the decision by 2 of its members to return to their management agency, Adore. According to the label on Monday, after discussions with the remaining 3 members, Hani decided to respect a court ruling affirming the validity of her exclusive contract and return to Adore. However, Adore said it formally notified member Danielle of the termination of her contract after concluding that it would be, quote, difficult to continue working with her. Minji remains in talks with the agency. Adore also added that it plans to pursue legal action against one unnamed family member of Danielle and the agency's former CEO, Min Hee-jin, whom it says bears significant responsibility for triggering the dispute and delaying the group's return. Now, with just over a month to go until the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy, interest in winter sports is heating up. Now, at the same time, as many look for ways to reflect and reset for the new year, a unique program is offering a blend of both, a so-called curling temple stay. An Sung-jin has this story.
Along Korea's east coast, overlooking the East Sea, Naksansa Temple has long drawn visitors seeking a pause from everyday life, a place for retreat and reflection.
Whenever I feel down, I often return to temple stays because they offer some healing and a chance to look at the natural landscape.
Since it's the end of the year, I wanted to wrap up the year well, stepping away from everyday life, so I came here with a friend.
Naksansa's Temple Stay program includes a guided tour of the temple grounds and the iconic 해수관음상, a statue gazing out toward the sea. Visitors can also take part in traditional meditation programs such as tea meditation, which emphasizes mindfulness through ritual, and singing bowl meditation, known for its calming vibrations. But this winter, Naksansa Temple is offering something entirely new.
Now, the Naksansa Temple stay has gone beyond a conventional stay, creating a unique curling temple stay that combines the excitement of winter sports with a traditional monastic experience.
Curling, often described as chess on ice, shares similarities with meditation in that they both bring the mind into focus while caring for the body.
It's thrilling and fun, especially sliding across the ice, even though it's a bit slippery. Through this temple stay, I got to try curling, visit the temple, and meet so many new people.
The initiative aims to broaden the appeal of temple stays while offering a fresh way to explore balance, focus, and teamwork beyond the meditation hall.
As temple stays become increasingly connected with the wellness industry, we're also expanding our programs in partnership with the local community. Our goal is to design programs that allow participants to truly experience the temple culture and take time to rest.
Naksansa Temple is redefining what a temple stay can be. The temple's new program invites visitors to discover balance in an unexpected place, where Buddhist philosophy meets winter sports. An Sung-jin, Arirang News, Sokcho.
It's time now to take a look at what's been happening in the world of sports. And for that, we have our sports editor, Paul Nee, joining us in the studio. Hello, Paul.
Hello there. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for joining us. So, Paul, let's begin with football, particularly South Korean players in Europe. I heard there have been some goals and assists.
Yes, including a goal by Hyun-jun, an incredible comeback win for his team. In the Scottish Premier League away to Livingston on Sunday, Hyun-jun made it 2-2 for Celtic with just 10 minutes played. Celtic had found themselves 2-0 down inside 8 minutes to the league's basement side, but a comeback 4-2 win keeps the Hoops in the hunt for the title. It was Yang's first league goal of the season. Meanwhile, Oh Hyun-gyu grabbed an assist on Friday in a 5-3 Genk loss to Club Brugge. It was his first assist of the season. In the Premier League, meanwhile, Hwang Hee-chan started for Wolves in a 2-1 away loss to Liverpool It was his 13th league appearance of the campaign and 8th from the start, but Wolves have now lost 11 in a row and are without a win in 18.
Well, I hope we can see more wins in the new year. Now, staying with football, but turning to the K-League, there has been a recent spree of managerial appointments, right?
Yes, it is apparently the season to appoint a new manager. Headlining the list is Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors appointing Gimcheon Sangmu boss Chung Jung-young to replace the highly successful Gus Poyet, who won the double with Jeonbuk last year. Meanwhile, Jeju SK have moved for Sergio Costa, who served as Paolo Bento's right-hand man for the national team. Jeju only survived relegation last season. Ulsan HD, meanwhile, another side that only narrowly avoided the drop, have gone for club legend Kim Hyun-sok. Kim had only managed for 2 seasons in K-League 2 before getting the job at Ulsan. And in a real statement of intent, Suwon Blue Wings have hired the so-called K Mourinho Lee Jong-hyo. Outspoken but seen as a highly talented manager, Suwon failed to return to K-League 1 last year, losing to Jeju in the playoffs.
Some familiar names. Now, moving on to winter sports, it seems as the one name to look out for at next year's Winter Olympics in speed skating is Lee Na-hyun, right?
Right. The rising speed skating star claimed back-to-back titles over the weekend. At the 52nd National Sprint Championships, Lee Na-hyun defeated national icon Kim Min-son in every race. He won both rounds of the 500 metres and the 1,000 metres, finishing first in all 4 races, confirming her status as Korea's next sprint ace. She posted a time of 38.53 seconds in the second 500 metres and 1 minute 17.2 seconds in the second 1,000 metres. Both skaters are expected to be medal contenders at the 2026 Winter Olympics. Now, the Sprint Championships are a domestic competition focused on short-distance skaters and are used to evaluate current form for national team consideration and to help build results towards Olympic cycles.
All right, good luck to Lee Na-hyun and to Team Korea. And last but not least, let's move on to baseball. So what's the latest ahead of the World Baseball Classic?
Well, it seems that selection remains a topic of increased interest. According to a national team official on Friday via Yonhap News, when South Korea holds a training camp in Saipan next month, players based overseas this year will also be welcome to join. Go Woo-sok is one name that's been mentioned. The team will head to Saipan from January 9th to the 21st, and all but one of the 29-man squad is from the KBO, Song Sung-moon, who recently moved to the San Diego Padres. Other potential names headed to MLB mid-season and will therefore need permission to feature in the World Baseball Classic in March.
All right, Paul, thanks for that, and thank you for all your hard work this year. We'll see you next week in the new year.
Thank you. A pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Even though the rain clouds cleared this afternoon, the air quality became even worse. Ultrafine dust levels already rose to bad range. With fog mixed in, the air looks particularly hazy. Some areas of Gyeongsangnam-do province will have bad levels of ultrafine dust tonight, but that will clear tomorrow. The temperature in Seoul reached 8 degrees Celsius this afternoon, about 6 degrees higher than the average. However, with cold air moving in overnight, a strong cold snap is expected again around the new year. On the very first day of the new year, the morning is expected to be cold at minus 11 degrees in Seoul. Tomorrow morning, Seoul and Daejeon will plunge to minus 3 degrees. Gyeongju starts at minus 2 degrees. Daily highs will move up to only 2 degrees in Seoul and Chuncheon, 4 degrees in Daejeon. Along the East Coast, dry conditions have been continuing. Please be extra careful not to cause any wildfires. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
And that's Newscenter for this final Monday of 2025. Thank you for watching, and from all of us here at Arirang, stay warm and stay safe.